Back on the Aromatic Express, and with a connection in London, time to stop and smell the scents. Good tidings to you over there, and with us at the old desk today is Lumen's Adventures in London, EDP. I don't have much info on this, unfortunately, on the old back end. This brand doesn't really seem to have a website or any info cards inside the box. If I had to guess, I would say this is probably a unisex fragrance, but probably leaning towards that more masculine side of the old spectrum. This can be found in off-retail stores. I picked this up in Burlington, and believe it or not, I haven't been to Burlington in a minute. When I go up there every now and then, I'll buy like a little couple batches of random things to put to the side so I can try them out and then talk about them here. Maybe save someone out there a couple bucks. Another bottle from this brand up there as well, and I put that to the side that we'll review sometime down the line. Not too much on the old box, some stamps or what have you to paint a picture of where we're supposed to be visiting, I suppose. I believe this is the batch number, but don't quote me on that. There's not really much else on the old markings for this, so just keep that in mind. As for the bottle, it's pretty simple, but seems pretty sturdy. The cap is pretty darn massive relative to the size of the bottle, too. It's plastic, but it is relatively snug. That is of a bug in a rug or something like that. Pretty well fitting, to say the least. Now, digging into the notes, once again, there wasn't a whole lot on the old interwebs for this, but luckily for us, they do provide some of the listed notes on the box. It doesn't really break them down, so we'll just put them in order of their listings, top notes, middle notes, and all that fun stuff. So for the top notes, we have aged white oak barrels. For our middle note, we have smoked black tea leaves. And for our base note, we have charred cedar embers. And as we usually do around here, we'll do one spray for the sky and one for the skin. Strong little spray right there. Okay, one for the skin. And we'll let that sit for just a moment, and we'll be right back. And we are back. Initial impressions right away. I smell burnt wood, but also it seems to be backed with a unlisted note in my old nostrils here, being benzoins or potentially vanilla, something like that. This is a rather odd scent story too. It's unique in a way, but kind of also is a little reminiscent of another formulation that we've tried on this old channel. It kind of reminds me of Wahaj firewood, at least in the beginning. But I will say this is a much more toned down, sweet version of that. I think there also is a tea note in there. It has the aromatics of a tea leaf dipped in like hot tar, which does sound rather unpleasant, but I will say this just kind of works for what this is, potentially or perhaps on the precipice of a mystery tagline, but still kind of with a map of where the scent is probably heading towards, which seems to be in that whole realm of Wahaj firewood. I believe Wahaj firewood is an inspiration of At the Fireplace. As it really settles, I mostly just get that dual burning wood benzoin scent, unfortunately, or fortunately. I kind of wish there was a little bit more on the charring tea side. I'm not super familiar with what white oak barrels are supposed to smell like. Maybe a nice cup of Verner's, but maybe not. And maybe I'm imagining it, but there does seem to be smoky tea here. Maybe I want there to be smoky tea here because it says it, and that's a tad unfortunate, the little placebo of scent smells. It is rather interesting and or a little odd. Now, jumping into the 4 Ps of price, performance, projection, and practicality, starting off with price, its cloud coin is around $13. It's another relatively cheap scent compared to most. Its availability, though, is just a little bit of a mystery due to the brand not having a huge and or any online presence, to be quite honest. So you might have to go to the old off-retail stores to do a little bit of adventuring. You want to try it yourself. As for the old performance, its cloud cardio is surprisingly okay. On my skin, it was active for a little over 5 hours, and on my clothes, around 7-ish or so. But I will say the clothes scent with this was vastly different. The burning indoor smoky barrels thing was kind of more of the scent on the clothes, and as for the skin, it was a little bit more on the sweet side, potentially with that weird benzoin note that doesn't exist anywhere on the old labeling, but there definitely is some sort of sweet and or vanilla backing this thing, I will say that. Projection, its cloud cape is probably a medium, I would say, but this is a fragrance where if you do decide to overspray it, I'd say like Smokey the Bear might pop out of the woods and give you the old hand, so watch out for that. Very potent for those that want to do over 6 sprays. A little trial and error is your friend, of course. Practicality. Due to its rather unique scent story, I would say limited application of where to throw it on, as well as when. I'm leaning towards probably late nights and just a little cooler on the weather side, at least on the initial skin scent. After it sits, I will say the soft vanilla or benzoins starts to do a little bit on the old back end there as well. So not going to slap too many noses in the old area after it settles. In the beginning though, gotta be a tad cautious. In close public settings, maybe 3 sprays or so, or if you go a little heavier, you may become your own fallout, and if that's so how you will it, then this is your scent journey and all that fun stuff, so feel free. With all that being said, I think I would give this like a 3.5 out of 5 little clouds. It's pretty darn cheap, but maybe hard to find, has decent legs for its length of staying power, can be a lot with only like a few sprays or so, and is probably suited for limited applications, indoor occasions, being so because it's in that whole weird smoky sweet tarry tea family of smells. Overall, it's worth a try if you like a little campfire and cold in your wares. But if all that really doesn't sound like your jazz, this probably won't be your jam. Feel free to like and subscribe. I never mind it, and I always do appreciate it. And I always do appreciate you. Anyhow, anywho, and anyway, I appreciate you stopping on by as always, and I do hope to see you again real soon. Goodbye for now.